She was exhausted. Another long shift. Another day where the world seemed to forget she existed. The diner lights flickered like her hopes, dim, tired, and uncertain. She stood behind the counter in a faded uniform, wiping down the same surface she had cleaned 1,000 times before. Her hands carried scars from work while her heart carried scars from life. But no matter how hard things were, she lived with one belief: kindness matters, even when no one sees it. Her name was Emma, a poor waitress in a small town where dreams dried up faster than the coffee in the pot. Her bills were piling up. The landlord was waiting. Her shoes were worn, and so was her spirit. And yet, she smiled. Because somewhere inside her, hope refused to die. That night, when the cold wind howled outside and customers were few, the diner door swung open. 5 bikers stepped in, big, dusty boots stomping across the tiles, leather jackets worn from the road, tattoos climbing up their arms. People often judged them before they even spoke. Some customers even slipped out quietly, afraid. But Emma didn't flinch. With a nervous yet genuine smile, she approached their table. "What can I get you tonight?" she asked. The leader, a tall man with silver in his beard, sighed heavily. "Ma'am, I'm sorry. We've been riding for 2 days. We haven't eaten. Money's gone. We can pay for coffee, maybe 1 plate to share." Emma looked into their tired eyes. They were not criminals. They were just hungry, weary, human. She inhaled, gently placed her notepad down, and said, "You'll eat tonight. All of you. A meal each, hot, fresh, and full." Their eyes widened, surprised by her kindness. The leader shook his head and said, "We can't let you do that. We have nothing to give you back." "You don't have to," she replied softly. "Everyone deserves a warm meal sometimes." And just like that, she cooked for them. Plates of burgers, fries, pie for dessert, fresh coffee refilled again and again. She spent her own money, knowing tomorrow she would wake up to an even more difficult day. But she didn't care. Because kindness does not check bank accounts before it acts. When the 5 bikers stood to leave, the leader placed his hand over his heart. "We won't forget you," he said. But Emma simply waved goodbye as if it meant nothing. It meant everything. The next morning, Emma returned to work with sore feet and a quiet worry eating at her. She wondered if her good deed made any difference, or if the world had once again taken advantage of her softness. 48 hours passed. 2 days later, the ground began to tremble. The sound of engines filled the air, loud, deep, thunderous. The townspeople rushed to the streets. The diner windows vibrated. Emma looked up, confused, as a line of motorcycles, one after another, rolled into town. 10 bikes, then 50, then 100. Before long, 800 powerful motorcycles surrounded the tiny diner. The entire town held its breath. The same silver-bearded biker stepped off the lead bike. But this time, he wasn't just a tired traveler. He stood tall, proud, and commanding respect. He walked toward Emma, who stood frozen at the entrance, apron fluttering in the wind. "You probably didn't think we'd come back," he said with a warm smile. Emma swallowed. I didn't expect anything. You fed us when we had nothing. You treated us like human beings when others treated us like dirt. You restored something in us, something a lot of people lose on the road. Faith." He turned toward the motorcycles behind him and raised his hand. Hundreds of bikers cheered in a roar loud enough to shake the stars. The leader reached into his pocket and placed an envelope in Emma's trembling hands. "For the meals," he said. "And for your heart." He smiled again and whispered, "Open it." Her fingertips shook as she tore it open. Inside, a check. Her breath stopped. The amount written could pay her debts, fix her life, change her future. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Not because of the money, but because in this world where cruelty often wins, her kindness had been seen. The leader gently placed his hand on her shoulder. "People think strength is in power, in fists, in engines and noise, but you showed us the strongest force on earth is simple compassion." The bikers filled the diner. They laughed, they celebrated, they ordered food, more than the diner had ever sold in one day. Emma's co-workers rushed in to help. The town watched in awe. Those who once feared the bikers now saw brothers, protectors, grateful men who carried respect like a shield. Word spread fast. Local news came. Cameras captured what many could not believe. A poor waitress had changed a small corner of the world with one act of kindness. Later that evening, when the sky blazed orange with sunset, the leader walked to Emma again. "We ride a lot of roads," he said. "Most lead nowhere. But this one led us to you. If you ever need family, you got one. 800 strong." She wiped her tears, smiling through them. "Thank you, for remembering me." "Kindness," he replied, "is a road that always leads home." As the engines roared once more, as 800 motorcycles rode off into the horizon, Emma stood there in the wind, holding the envelope to her chest, knowing that her life had changed forever. But the real change was inside her. For the first time in a long time, she believed in herself. She believed in goodness. She believed the world still had miracles left. And that night, as she closed the diner's door, she whispered a vow to the stars. "No matter how little I have, I will always give when I can." Because she understood something powerful. Kindness isn't about what's in your wallet. It's about what's in your heart. People may forget what you say. They may forget what you do. But they never forget how you made them feel. Emma's kindness lit a match that turned into a wildfire of gratitude. A reminder to all of us that a single act of generosity can echo across miles. That someone with nothing can give everything. That strength isn't measured by muscle, but by love. And when life tests us, when the world seems dark and unfair, we must hold on to kindness. For that is where miracles begin. So let this story be a message for every tired soul who keeps helping others even when no one helps them. Someone sees you. Life sees you. And one day, when you least expect it, the goodness you gave will return to you multiplied, not in coins, but in blessings. Be the reason someone believes there is still light left in this world. Be the heart that keeps beating kindness into a world that forgets to care.